Negroes, do your duty.
You know, this revolution is filled with so many ironies, really. First, you tell us that it is manly to keep your word, right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all of the black people in this country are demanding, and even the black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were free. Well, then show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well, then stick to your word and let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man, you're a worm, you're afraid of us, you're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will override you.
Negroes, do your duty. Negroes, do your duty. Negroes, do your duty.
All the black folks you want, baby. But you will not feel the freedom of black folks. It's coming. We're going to get it. We fought every one of your damn lousy wars, baby, and you give us nothing. Now the war is going to be here, but we're going to be free. Now you kill you want to, but we kill too.
Negroes, do your duty. Negroes, do your duty.
Yes, I meant to play that over and over and over and over. That goes out to the sheriff of Washtenaw County, because right now we've got something going on in Washtenaw County. Well, it's not an ongoing situation. It's an ongoing investigation. And I'm not sure how they haven't caught this mutt yet, because at some point, somebody knows who did this. And if they're just waiting at the hospital for one of these kids to come to, because 2 have already died, to identify who the shooter is, that's not investigating anything. I thought they had a unit out here that could get into the nooks and crannies of the neighborhoods, that could find individuals like this, because this individual obviously has no regard for life. He shot a 14-year-old. He shot a 16-year-old. He shot a 19-year-old. He shot a 20-year-old. And now 2 of them are gone. And they're saying the other 2 are expected to survive, but be emotionally damaged for the rest of their lives. I'm not sure exactly where we're going to go in Washtenaw County if we don't make an about-face change. This is why I try to tell people there is no way in hell that Derek Jackson can become sheriff. He is a minion for Jerry Clayton, the person that is in command now. He is actually the community engagement officer, and we're still waiting for him to engage with the community. I think I heard somebody say that he was on the news earlier today, but I don't know. I haven't seen that video upload. So maybe he did a quick interview earlier, but they weren't on last night. I'm getting calls and texts in the middle of the night asking what's wrong, what happened. Some of the people that were shot, I know their parents. So we're in a situation where I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do, but I know that we have to have a change. This administration can't continue past 2024. There's got to be a change. But let's just stick with the matters at hand. 2 dead, 2 in ICU, where I think they've been upgraded now. And they're stable, and they say that they're expected to survive. But how does this happen? Once again, we just had something over in Arrowwood, and I think Ann Arbor has probably botched that investigation because they had 2 people, and they let them go. But they had been identified as people that were at the scene, but they obviously didn't know how to squeeze them to get the shooters, because there's multiple shooters in that situation. So they had 2 people in custody and they've let them go. But now we've got this situation just maybe, I don't know, 7-8 miles away from where the other situation happened. Nobody in custody. But you got 2 bodies now. And I don't know who was hit or if anybody got hit in that other situation over in Arrowwood. I never heard about any injuries there. So maybe there weren't any injuries, because half these little motherfuckers can't shoot anyway. They just popping off. Absolutely, Brother Larry. It's out of control. And we have no effective law enforcement. It's been ineffective for years. Now we've got enhanced neighborhood watch. They're on the case, but are they really on the case? And since they're all directly connected to the sheriff's department, I happen to think not. But it'd be good to get this mud off the streets. I'm seeing rewards and different things like that pop up. Hopefully somebody gonna want a little bag and they'll get that little mud off the street. Who's raising these kids now? Who's raising them? Or are they just raising themselves? I mean, they're not coming from functional households. And I know that some people slip through the cracks. You can raise them the best way you can, give them all the resources that you can, and they still go out and do things like this. I get that. But this stuff is happening almost every other day, every few days. Some type of assault, accosting, attack, shooting, stabbing, something. And I was just in a meeting last night, literally just in a meeting last night. Oh, absolutely, bro. Somebody's got to know. Somebody's got to know that happened in such a close proximity. And from what I'm hearing now, 3 of the 4 individuals were brothers. Somebody knows something. But this so-called no snitch culture is bullshit, because people don't even understand what a real snitch is. You ain't snitching if you get a mutt like this off the street. That ain't snitching. That's hopefully being helpful to bringing somebody to justice. But you ain't snitching. What about social media? I mean, we could dig all the way deep and say, well, how are the guns getting into the community? I think we know that. I think as grown folks, we know how the guns are getting in the community. These kids ain't going into gun stores with permits and buying guns. I think they know how they get to the street. I think they've known how they've gotten to the streets for years. They know in major metropolitan cities. Why wouldn't they know in a city like Ypsi or a city like Ann Arbor? Oh, I know you got a plan, Kenny. I know you got a plan. And that plan will be able to be spoken on for well over 400 days before the primary in August 2024. Because I know that the other candidates don't have plans. They have ideologies, they have some theories, but what they don't have is experience, and they don't have plans. They're going to bank on the vote blue no matter who crew to take them through. But we need real police doing real policing. Appreciate everybody in the chat so far. The person I'm talking directly to that's in the chat is this brother, Ken McGee, running for sheriff in Washtenaw County. I know a lot of people ain't seen a whole lot of propaganda about him yet this time around, because he's going to walk this one down slow, not having to deal with the pandemic, not having to deal with adverse lies and falsehoods spread about him. It's even Steven now, or should I say even Steven and even Eva, because we've got a lady in the race this time. So with Alicia Dyer and Derek Jackson combining their police experience at about 6.5 years, Ken brings in about 30 plus years of policing experience, executive managerial experience, international policing experience. We're going to talk all about that when we talk about it. But right now, I'm most concerned about this situation. I'm most concerned about what's happening in Ypsi. I'm most concerned about what's happening in Ann Arbor. I'm most concerned about what's happening in the village. Because what's happening in the village is bullshit. At this meeting last night, talking to a pastor, so don't nobody go into shock. Don't nobody go into shock. I was at a meeting last night and I was talking to a pastor. And we were talking about some things, and I can't just talk to every pastor. I can't just talk to every pastor, because every pastor, when I say something to them, they want to recite a biblical verse back to me. I don't need that shit. I don't need you reciting no biblical verse back to me when I'm reciting some real isms to you. You save the biblical stuff for Bible study and on Sunday. I don't need that. I don't mind that you call me brother or brother Shannon, but I don't need your Bible verses. What I need is your ear and then your feedback. Then let's make a plan. So we put a plan together last night tentatively, where we really want to start working with a certain type of kid. And I'm not going to divulge a lot of it, because here's the thing that I do a lot, and I'm guilty of this a lot. I put a lot of my business right out here on the street of things that I want to do. And then I see other people try to go manifest those things and fuck them up. Instead of just saying, I heard you say something about that. What was you talking about? Let's build on that. Let's try to put that together. No, they try to go do it themselves and they fuck it up and it never really gets off the ground. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep it tight. We're going to keep it close. And when we're ready to start coming out and dealing with these kids, which isn't going to be long, I wish it could be sooner, but you do have to plan. You do have to put things in play. So until that time, we're going to look at situations like this because our job ain't out here to be neighborhood watch. I'm going to tell you, we're coming from a different angle altogether. I realize they've got programs out here totally fixated on recidivism. Recidivism. I get it. I'm not fixated on recidivism. I'm fixated on a child never having to commit that crime. And there's a big difference between building and repairing. Just like there's a big difference between a new car and a used vehicle. A new car and a vehicle that's been in a crash that you've got to fix. That car will never drive the same. It will never perform the same. No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, see, what's happening in the county, because people are so used to this way of policing, they just said, oh, this is the way it's going to get. We're going to see a Facebook post, or we'll see a little video clip. We'll see something, but we really won't get any type of comfort, any type of, we know things are really being taken care of 2-3 days down the line. Just like we never got any feedback on whether that child was found or still missing or any type of update from WCSO. They put something out 3 days after a missing child went missing, and they haven't had a follow-up with anything, whether the child is still missing, whether the child is safely back at home, whether they've had contact with the child, but they haven't been able to bring the child back, nothing. These things need to stop. And the only way they stop is if you change the regime. Somebody just sent me a post here. Hold, give me one quick second. Wow. Was that who you thought it was? Question mark. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm voice texting. You got somebody right there looking to spread the good word, Brother McGee. Looking to spread the good word. Because, see, people need to understand this is not a personal vendetta against Derek Jackson. And I've already said I have nothing against Alicia Dyer. So when I speak about them as candidates for the sheriff's race, I will speak about them briefly, but I will get my point across about individually or collectively. But when I speak about McGee, I speak about McGee because I know and I can trust what he can do. Because I've seen it. I've seen it documented. It's in black and white. He's got the history. And if anybody's looking for some dirt, try to find it. Yeah, they know who did this. They know who did Ann Arbor. They know who did Ypsi. But ain't nobody saying nothing because they don't want to be a snitch. See, the crazy thing about it is you may not want to be a snitch, even though you wouldn't be a snitch, but you might be next. You might be next. Did you know Ypsi Township is one of the only top 10 populated without its own law enforcement department? Yes, that needs to change, Monica. That needs to change. In fact, Ypsilanti Township is one of the 7th largest townships without its own law enforcement, over 57,000 residents. It needs to change. I'm hearing about a study. I'm hearing about something that they're putting together to do a study on it. I don't think we need to do a study on it. I think we need to shut WCSO down in Ypsilanti Township. They need to get their own police department, just like these other small towns in Washtenaw County. Whitmore Lake got their own police. Chelsea got their own police. Saline got their own police. Hell, if Ypsi's got their own police, why doesn't the township have their own police? Or why doesn't Ypsi's police department stretch into the township and they ramp them up? There's so many different things that could have been done, but they haven't been done, and they're not going to be done. And if the wrong person gets elected, we already know where this thing goes. I mean, they live on social media. Is WCSO on social media right now? They need to be on social media because I bet you things are happening on social media. Ain't nobody talking in the streets. Y'all can give up that knocking on doors and all that stuff. You have to get with the 21st century tactics. And can you get with the 21st century tactics when you're trying to get into the nooks and crannies? Are you really trying to get into the nooks and crannies? That doesn't sound like a real 21st century phrase. Sounds like a 20th century phrase. But I've read it. It was a quote by the neighborhood watchman of 48197 and 48198. The deputized crew of the WCSO. When is it going to happen? It's going to happen next August. Not this coming August, but August 24th, when people vote for Ken McGee, and not to vote for non-police. We've got people that are non-police running. Derek Jackson ain't never put handcuffs on nobody except at the police academy. He's never been in law enforcement. His connection to the sheriff's office is just what it is. It's a connection. And it's hurting the county because he's a part of the community engagement team. He's a part of the people that are supposed to come out and make the community feel better about a situation, feel safe about a situation, make people feel confident that they've got it all under control. And he hasn't reared his head. Who's been in those communities? Who's been in those communities talking to those community members? Because I know people in those communities, and ain't nobody seen nobody. They were out there, they did their initial investigation, and that was it. I really haven't been able to piece together with that accident and the shooting was the same thing. I've heard it was, but I didn't know if it was. They said that car crashed, so I didn't know if that person had been shot, and then they kind of lost consciousness, and that's why there was a crash. Haven't been able to put all that together. But I wasn't really concerned about it at that point because they said it was the same people. So I don't know if there was another incident. Haven't been able to put all that together. Y'all writing books on me now. I can't read all that. Hold on one sec. Arrowwood is as easy clothes. They get on social media. And so, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, what people have to understand is there's been a pattern, and it's been going on for a long time. So I'm not just kicking somebody to kick them. I'm actually not even kicking the individual. I'm kicking the play that was put on us in 2009. And nobody has stepped in to stop it. Because they've grown comfortable with Jerry. I've heard that he makes us feel comfortable. How? Oh, I get it. Because usually the people that I'm talking to, I'm like, why do you trust Sheriff Clayton? He's made us feel comfortable. Okay. But then I have to forget who I'm talking to and where they live. Where they live. because I don't think any of the people that are in these areas that are directly affected with this type of violence feel comfortable right now. I'd like to see what Jerry Clayton's approval rating is right now in these areas that are being affected. His approval rating can't be that great. Four kids shot in Ypsilanti, Coco. 2 are dead. 2 are still hospitalized. 2 are dead. 2 are hospitalized. No suspects. See, what I've also heard is I've heard that Jerry takes care of factions of people. He's put posts on Facebook. The Middle Eastern community, they love Jerry because Jerry is very close to the Ypsi family, a very prominent, very wealthy family around Washtenaw County. They own up a lot of stuff in Washtenaw County. And Jerry makes sure he takes care of them because they've given him a lot of money over the years for his campaign and to make them feel comfortable. He absolutely is taking care of the Middle Eastern family. They said it publicly. I've never seen anybody from the Black community make a public post and say, Jerry Clayton makes my neighborhood safe. But I've heard him say, that's my man. That's my main man. Yeah, I've heard that. You're in 48198. You need better. There you go. I don't think y'all really hearing these folks out here in 48197 and 48198. Maybe y'all really ain't hearing what these people are saying out here. Y'all need to get on your job. Maybe y'all need to get your ear to the ground.
Negroes, do your duty.
There's another one for Jerry. I know all the investigators and all the police are not, but the head in the county, he absolutely is. So,
Negroes, do your duty.
I mean, if I'm a Black sheriff and I'm seeing all this Black death and Black violence and things like that, I'm actually looking at every one of my officers, but then I'm looking at the Black ones and saying, look, this is your community, your people's community. This is where y'all live. Y'all need to be taking a greater stake in this, because I know a lot of the white deputies don't live in a lot of these areas or not from a lot of these areas. But this is why it's really difficult for you to put all that faith in a politician, because Jerry is a politician. And at this point, what I've seen is Derek's a politician, and God bless her, but they turning Alicia into a politician too. It's one thing I know about Ken McGee. He's not a politician. He's police. And he's got the ideology of one of us because he thinks outside of the badge. He thinks outside of that. And he's only got 500% more of police experience than Alicia and Derek do combined. They've got 6 years. He's got 30 plus. You do the math. He's got over 500% more experience at 30 plus years when you've got 6 years police experience between two individuals. This sounds like the summer of 2012, 2013. Random shots resulting in young humans deceased. What is the common denominator that seems to never leave? Jerry Clayton. That's the common denominator, Jerry Clayton. Jerry Clayton, and there's been not enough resources put into this community, in these communities, not this community, in these communities, in the village, to get these kids off the street. We're basically going through a 10-year anniversary. I hadn't even got back in the county yet. I was still in Wayne County in 12 and 13. Hadn't got back here yet. It's absolutely not the way. It's absolutely not the way. It's not about just putting bodies on the streets, but effective policing can really only happen if you've got other things in play. Yeah, you need bodies, you need people trained, you need all that stuff. I get it. But there needs to be resources. For one, there's just not enough to do in this county. I mean, you hit 14, 16, 19, and 20. So 2 kids that are still high school age and 2 kids who are just basically out of high school age. I know what the 14 and the 16 were doing up until basically last week. But what's that 19 and 20-year-old doing? And who shot? Let's put them in play too. That 19 and the 20 and the one that got shot. Because from what I'm hearing is that the 20-year-old, if I'm not mistaken, it's the 20-year-old, he was just sitting in a car. From the messaging that I heard, he actually wasn't even a part of whatever skirmish was going on. He was sitting in a car. And that this was all over a girl. Still trying to get all that cleared up. But I believe it was over a girl, and the 20-year-old was sitting in the car. So I'm not sure exactly how all the other stuff played out. The pieces have just kind of come in sketchy. So I don't want to put something out there that might not be true. But I would have thought that in the first thing this morning, they would have found that set of TV cameras to jump in front of to make sure that the community knew they were on the case, that there was no imminent danger because this was an isolated incident. You do that as law enforcement. You do that as community engagement. I don't know if daddy's in that house or not. I don't know. I ain't got that deep with who is who, because some of these families, I actually know one of the victims. I know one of the victims. And from what it sounds like, I may even know another one of the victims. I may have even coached him in football. I haven't clarified that yet. I haven't clarified that yet. If that's the name that I'm thinking, I may have coached him in football, in junior football. It's sketchy. Right now, it's sketchy. But a single parented household, I can't just blame. But what I can blame is the fact that the way these children are more or less raising themselves, sometimes due to being in a single parented household where that mother or that father has to work a lot of hours and that kid is there by themselves, or even being in a 2-parented home and just not getting the proper tutelage from those parents. There's just no balance. There's no balance. Because if you've got both parents in the home, you should be making sure that that kid is on lock every day, having something to do one way or the other. And if you ain't got nothing in your community, take them to another community. Keep them busy. It's the only way you keep them out of trouble is you keep them busy. These next couple generations of kids, they're going to be the least mechanically inclined because most of them don't want to fix shit. And there's not programs around here that are putting them in play to learn how to do skilled trades, mechanical and things like that. Understanding that skilled trades could even be barbering and hairstyling and different things like that. But kids are going the other direction and understanding, totally understanding the direction that they're going in. It's all directed by passivity. This is a passive generation of kids. And that starts at home. That starts at home. That kid that don't care about nothing, that shit starts at home. You got to give them stuff to care about. You got to give them stuff to believe in. You've got to parent your kids. You cannot be your kid's friend. Because if you try to be your kid's friend, you're going to end up being their enemy. I can definitely tell you that. What you done put up here, Kenny? One of the key ways to make change is to have leadership, presence, confidence in that leader. The two components are missing. The sheriff should be holding a town hall meeting in a town park, being present, explaining his plan, executing the plan, and in this case, knocking on doors himself, working with. Oh, you're not going to get Jerry out here. Jerry's too far gone. That's not what JC does anymore. Now he might send some of his people out. Might. And I say might. He might send, I'm not even seeing Derek. I think Derek is in full campaign mode, and maybe they just haven't filled the spot of the community engagement officer, and that's why he still does the interviews when he's pushed to. But I think he's really in full, he done had 2 launch parties. I'm not sure what that's about. He keeps having these launch parties, like telling people that he's running for sheriff. We've been knowing he's running for sheriff ever since Jerry said he wasn't going to run again. But he keeps putting it out here, but that's all political stuff. I know he's running for sheriff every time an AATA bus drives by. I know he's running for sheriff every time I look at a billboard, because he's on all that shit. You'd think he was running for president. And in this case, knocking on doors himself, working with the ground troops and reassuring the public that the leader cares. A spokesperson has zero credibility when it comes to leadership as well as a crime solving. So leadership, it must have been a to be continued. You might have ran out of space. Couldn't get that all in there. But we are just in the midst. And that long commentary, once again, that was from Ken McGee, who is running for sheriff in Washtenaw County. This is totally impromptu. Had no idea he'd be on the stream. I knew I was going to talk about him. I was going to talk about some of the things that I would have. Hello? Thought there was somebody trying to come in. That he might do just based on some of the things I've seen in his plans. But I know definitely it's about presence. And he's already stated that. You got to be present. As a leader, you've got to be present. And we've not had that with Jerry for years. I think he was present early on. But as he grew into the position, so did his other business outside of the WCSO. So he wasn't not only present, he wasn't presenting himself as the sheriff. A spokesperson has zero, what'd you say there? Spokesperson has zero credibility when it comes to leadership as well as crime solving. So leadership, okay, I got you. So I got that. And then there's another one here. I ran out. So leadership, get off your ass and get out there and solve the crime. Hey, obviously easier said than done in this particular. I'm going to give people the benefit of the doubt for the next 3, 2, 1 seconds. Okay, obviously easier said than done, but my thing is, how effective are the methods that they've been using? I don't think there's new tactics. I know they got all this community violence intervention and community violence interruption and community, they got all these CVIs and CUVIs. And hey, look, man, I don't care how many acronyms you use. It don't even matter to me. I just need to not be talking about this shit on a Tuesday. How about that? How about let's not talk about this on a Tuesday? I didn't even come up and do a stream about what happened in Arrowwood. Couldn't get enough information on it. Now I done found out that the cops had actually apprehended 2 people and now they don't let them go. Had been identified, but they said they weren't on camera, so they couldn't hold them. So what kind of policing y'all doing in Ann Arbor? So what, they weren't on camera? Were they in that car? Were they in the vicinity? Were they lookouts? Because they weren't because they weren't on camera, you let them go. Okay. So Ann Arbor solving crimes at the same clip that the WCSO is solving crimes. I see. This is happening so frequently. Hold on one second. This is happening so frequently. And it's not Ypsilanti. It's happening in Ann Arbor. And see, I know a lot of the times people don't think about this as in Ann Arbor. But gun violence has been everywhere. It's just being uncovered and happening more frequently. The billions of children that were in that car wouldn't talk. I don't quite understand that one. The billions of children that were in that car wouldn't talk. I don't understand that one. Hold on one second. Somebody's actually texting me, I think, a video. Hold on one sec. Oh, I can't see it because it's a blocked account. Can't read it. So yeah, they're posting things on social media. Some of the people that were involved or know people that were involved are posting things, and people are sending them to me now. I couldn't open that one. But yeah, this is happening far too much. The children played dumb like they didn't know who or why they were being shot at. Got it. Not really understanding fully that they could be next. Somebody spins the block and comes back the next day. You might be next. And what are you really trying to protect? You're trying to protect yourself first, right? You're trying to protect your family. And I'm not out here telling anybody to do anything that I wouldn't do. But I never had to find myself in these types of situations. Fortunately, this is just the lay of the land now. And if the kids aren't thinking of themselves, they need to be thinking about their siblings, about their mothers, their fathers, whoever takes care of them. How do you have almost 10 children in one car and no one knows it? 10? There was 10 kids in that car? It was a sedan. It looked like a Nissan Altima or something. Wow. Give me one quick second. Thanks for holding on there. What you say there, Monica? They are too busy being political and being law enforcement. Yeah. I can see that you read Politico. You do voice texting because they picked you up at Politico versus Politico. So I know the sites that you be on. It be on Politico. Yes. I mean, I'm not getting it. I'm really not getting 10 kids in a car and nobody knows nothing. So they didn't catch the shooters, and the ones who they did apprehend and release, does anybody really believe or really know that they might have been in that car? Were they actually on the scene, or did they just get picked up on suspicion, questioned, and released? It's crazy. I mean, I don't even understand 10 kids in a car. I've had 10 kids in a minivan when I was driving in cab, but that's a minivan. That's meant to have 7 in it. I put 3 more in it. But in a sedan, you trying to double up on the seatbelts? I mean, obviously, ain't nobody buckling up, but how you putting 10 kids in a sedan? Was there an MLive article on this? I remember seeing it on the Metro News IG page. That's where I saw it. Was the Metro News IG page. Somebody had sent me that link initially. But if we do have that link, let's put that in the chat. And this is a very tedious thing, I understand, for politicians in general. And I know I've been on Jerry's head and Derek's head, because they're in command right now. Alicia Dyer, she's running for sheriff. Ken's running for sheriff. They have no power in this situation. So I've been on their head, and I'm going to stay on their head, and I'm going to keep saying, I'm going to keep saying it. And if I don't say it, who else going to say it? Ain't nobody going to get online and say,
Negroes, do your duty.
I'm going to say it because I need them to do their duty. I don't have to be in cahoots with you to want you to do right by the county. We thought WCSO was going to stop crime before it happens. Isn't this something similar to what District 5 Commissioner Justin Hodge touted at public meetings? Yes. From what I saw, from what I've read and things, I've heard, was that he said crime had been down in his district, especially, and there had been lives saved due to the deputized unit that had been put in play by the WCSO. And they were able to stop crimes before they happen. Now, that's been quite some time since I heard all that political babble. But where is Commissioner Hodge now? Where are any of the Board of Commissioners now? Where's everybody that signed off on the deputized that was going to stop crime? I think I just got the notification. I made sure that I turned up because it was supposed to be a sound like my system cut off on me yesterday. Most of y'all wasn't here, so it don't even matter. My system cut off on me, but I had already been on like 2 hours. So, but it was just funny how it was like, your system will shut down in like 40 something seconds. I got it like right at a minute or something like that. And it wouldn't allow me to stop the shutdown. So that chime just came in. So now I know, and I stopped the update. Because if I don't stop it, it just does it on its own. So I got to get that fixed. Anyways. So yeah, Justin Hodge and all the other commissioners, you know, they've put so many different things in play over these last couple years that now we're kind of reaping what they sowed. We're reaping what they sowed. And where I thought they had it all on lock and that crime was down and that crimes were being solved before they were committed, we're now not able to catch neighborhood shooters shooting people that they know. We've got kids, 10 kids in a car, and y'all can't get one of them to talk? What'd you say there, Commissioner? Annie Somerville. Oh, okay. I know who Annie is. Annie knows me, and I know Annie. Well, Annie really don't know me. She knows me, but she don't know me. So it's all good.
Are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie?
I know Annie. Are you okay, Annie? I need to know if you okay, Annie. I'm still trying to find out how she's related to the Tucson family. I heard Annie Somerville was related to the Tucson family. Is that true? Is that really? Did she marry into the Tucson family? Because they said she was related. I don't really see the resemblance, but she could be. You know, I've got some blended folks in my family. So I just wanted to know how, you know, she was related. I want to know if she married in or she was, you know, she was in a relationship with some of the Tucsons. I don't know. I don't know how that works out. And if she is that close to Native Black American culture in Ypsilanti, how come we not seeing Annie on this? Because I know if this had been a situation where Brother Ricky Jefferson was still in play, we probably would have heard from Brother Ricky Jefferson at this point. Didn't Annie Somerville take over Ricky Jefferson's spot? Shouldn't she be speaking as if someone like Ricky Jefferson would? How come she is church mouse quiet on this? Where Jeff Irwin at on this? Where Jeff Irwin at? I mean, I know he's been working the halls of justice lately. You know, he gets on IG and talks about all the bills that he's helping pass and things like that. None of that is helping this, but good for him. Because he's got to get his slate right, because he's going to have to move on at some point too. So he got to get his slate right, and he got to show that he's been a part of a lot of legislation. Nothing particularly dealing with Black folks. You know, he's going to give you all a little bit more money on your bridge cards and things like that. He's going to help you out with some subsidies. He's going to do some stuff like that. But we're not going to talk about no transformative energies with Brother Irwin. We should know him at that point. We should know now Jeff Irwin is not the guy that's going to bring us to transformative energies. No. I don't think Annie Somerville is going to be there. Oh, you had something at the bottom about Caroline Sanders. FYI, both of them cover Ypsilanti Township along with Commissioner Caroline Sanders. Okay. And see, I'm starting to learn the names. I'm starting to put the names with the faces. You know, I know there's Caroline Sanders and there's Crystal Light. And I think there's one other Black person on the commission, right? I think there's another Black person on the commission. Because Annie took over for Ricky's. Oh, Justin Hodge. There you go. That's, well, you know, Justin's mixed. So, you know, 2.5 Black people. But anyway, yeah, does anybody have an article referencing the 10 kids in the car? I just literally want to see that. I want to see that. 10 kids in a car. That's nuts. That's just nuts to me. And they couldn't get one of those kids to talk. I mean, the police tactics that you could use on that would be really easy. But I'm not giving anybody any type of intel on what I would have said to make one of the 10 kids talk. I'm not going to help this current administration police. They already told me they don't want my help anyway, so I'm good with that. I'm totally good with that. They'd rather deal with people who are just going to say, yes, yeah, yes, sir. It's my main man. That's my main man. You just a jive turkey, Shannon. Shannon McFall, sorry, I can only stay for a minute. Do you know offhand what the clearance rate for murders in areas under the sheriff's got? Oh, I don't know. I don't know, but I bet you I can put somebody on that. And because the last time I tried to find out some really accurate crime stats, I failed. It sent me, listen, I was on a wild goose chase, and I start seeing 19, 18. They haven't done a real good of anything since COVID. Not that they did anything good before COVID, but I haven't seen any good stats since COVID. But I'd like to find out the clearance rate for murders under JC's tenure. I really would. Yeah, that let me see if I can find out that the clearance rate for murders in our area under JC's lack of leadership. Got it. Wonder if all the commissioners we pay for via taxes in District Somerville, District 5 Hodges, and District 4 Sanders come before the township board in person during the meeting to account for $6.8 million used to pay the law enforcement, which seems to be primarily used for other things. Well, absolutely. I think somebody needs to step up to the mic at the township meeting and having, if not one, but all three there, just so there isn't any variance in the stories or ideologies. They need to talk. Can you make a public request or even a private request that the commissioners who cover the township come to township board meetings? Can you make those requests? Maybe not requests. Can you make those demands? Because, see, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. There's a lack of transparency. There's a lack of trust. Where you have a lack of transparency, you're going to have a lack of trust. That's just common. Excuse me. You just send me. Oh, hold on a second. I'm catching a bunch of text here. Wow. This is literally a text. Well, it's on social media. And they're literally going back and forth about the shooting. This is crazy. They're literally playing it out in a thread about the shooting. And wait a minute. So they're making references about set it off and all kinds of stuff. How old are these kids? These kids watching movies like Set It Off? They watching old flicks like that? What's going on here? Yeah, this is wild. They're literally on social talking about the stuff. So if I'm getting text messages, you trying to tell me that law enforcement can't see this? If I'm catching text messages and they're screenshots from social media, how come law enforcement hasn't seen this? Ineffective. Flat out ineffective. And I know people try to think that I live behind this microphone, which I don't. We obviously know that. I couldn't see some of the things that I even see when I do see them. But this is a person that literally is right on the post and screenshotting stuff that is actually happening. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can get a timestamp. Oh, this went into today. This started a couple days ago and it came in through today. So they still talking about it. They still talking about it. What up, Free? Yeah, we've been here for an hour, just really trying to figure some things out. We got 2 down, 2 in a hospital, and the killer's still on the loose. The killer's still on the loose. And they on social media laughing about it. The people that's shooting on social media laughing about it. But WCSO can't pick them up. People be talking about they on these oversight committees and enrichment, departments, ability, this, that, and that. Come on, man. Y'all need to stop, dog. Y'all doing less than the sheriff doing, of course. I would have to put all my weight on it. Yes. I don't really go too deep with a couple of them, but the one that I'm sure that I know and may have coached in junior football, absolutely American Freeman. Absolutely. And I believe the younger one, well, there's 3 brothers. I heard there was 3 brothers, and then there's another individual. The one individual that was not related, I'm pretty sure I coached him in football. The other youngins, I got a message that her son may have played sports with the little boy. This is nuts. I really just had no idea. I had no idea that nobody had said anything up until I heard that Derrick Jackson did. So I waited and I tried to find that video. I wanted to at least have that available. I can't find it. So maybe it was a clip that they didn't upload. Maybe there wasn't enough information given for them to upload it. I've seen Channel 7, but he didn't have anybody. I've seen Channel 4, and he didn't have anybody. So why do I want to just watch the news reporter report on the scene without any type of law enforcement in play? Yes, you did, Coach. You see? Okay, so I thought so. So there it is. There it is right there. So understanding these things are going to start hitting a little bit different for me because now I'm starting to become directly affected in things. So I know the family. I knew the kid. This is when it gets personal. And it doesn't just have to get personal for me to really jump into play. I'm already in play. I do what I do. But now we get into reaching out to families and seeing what we can do, seeing how we can help, seeing what we can push for. See, a lot of people don't really understand this is what we've always done. We just don't always video it. We don't always take pictures of it. Dr. Cynthia, good afternoon to you. There was a time when MLive did investigative reporting long, long ago. Yes, when they were still directly connected to a local news source. Yes, they did. Now that they basically run everything out of the headquarters, which I believe is in New York, they don't care about Washtenaw County. They might catch a big fish story in Detroit and run along with it, but they're not doing all the stuff that happens in Washtenaw County on the MLive feed is garbage. It's actual garbage. I wish the A2 Indy was a daily paper so we could at least get that out. At least we know we're going to get the truth, get the facts, and it be grammatically correct. We can't even get that. I remember that name. Don't know him personally. I guess the person is really in the paint now for them, and I don't know him personally, but people have tried to connect us. Is it Ryan Stanton? Is that his name? Ryan Stanton? I guess he's really deep with a lot of the Washtenaw County stuff. Being lied to. See, that's the biggest problem, is that people don't like the truth when it comes out. I get it. Sometimes the truth just hurts. You know, I mean, I've incurred enough truth in my life. I get it. There's a lot of truths that just hurt. And people don't like when you have the truth comes out and it hurts. It bothers, it insults people that I say some of the things that I say about politicians and police and different things. I get that. But I can tell you this, if I was lying, I wouldn't be talking to y'all right now because they'd have ceased and desisted me. Ryan Stanton is your cousin? Okay. Yeah, I know he's been in the paint with MLive. He digs some stuff up every now and then. Let him know the villager on deck said, what up? He don't know me, but he probably should. It's all good. But this is just going to get crazier and crazier until there's some real policing done out here. And that starts with the engagement in the community. I'm not talking about deputized units. I'm not talking about localized units. Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office is supposed to go end to end, even where there's places that do have police departments. How come Washtenaw County ain't doubling up with Ann Arbor, saying, hey, if you got somebody, you know, on something in the area where we generally are, let us know. We'll help out. Because they had the brother that was on there he said he was helping, I believe that it was the 19-year-old, maybe the 20-year-old, who I believe I know his family. He said it took like 10 minutes for the ambulance to get there. Said it took like 10 minutes. Now, if that's a good response time, I don't know if that's a good response time or not. But then when they went down the road and crashed, they said the police were everywhere. So they must have already been all the way to the scene. They got like right there on the crash. But he said it took him like 10 minutes for him to get there, for the ambulance to get there. Would you say there, Sister Cynthia? You have to live with the discomfort of the truth. Absolutely. So I do know the family. Okay. So I know the family. I know the youngin. Oh, boy. Yeah, this is just, you know, for me, I got to stay focused so I don't start taking things personally. And then I start saying things that, you know, I can hold on to that stuff for later. I ain't really got to let the cannon loose, you know, no pun intended, today. Because where we are with this, we still got to stay focused. I believe that the two individuals who are still amongst the living, they'll probably be able to identify who did this, or at least send them in the direction of somebody that would know. The other two individuals, obviously, bless their family, bless them, you know. And then the situation over in Ann Arbor, you know, Monica, didn't you say your window was blown out? I'm just gonna put your business out here. You say your window got blown out in the complex? I mean, was the shooting like localized, or were they just driving all through the co-op shooting? Thought you said your windows got blew out. Just like the state troopers team up with the sheriff's department when needed. Absolutely. It should be a collective effort. WCSO should be all over everything right now. They should be all over everything because those individuals are still local. It ain't like they done got on the road and, they're going to have to go down to Tennessee or Alabama or Georgia to find them. They right here in Washtenaw County. They ain't gone nowhere. Especially if they're on social media laughing about it. They really have no respect. None. Absolutely none for the WCSO. Yes, they were shooting from the community. Wait a minute. And you still stay in the same place? You caught bullets way back there? Wow. I mean, kids could have got hit. Elderly people walking along. Man. Y'all about to have a gate. Y'all about to have a gate for real. Good afternoon, LaShawn Poole. Yeah, y'all about to have a gate for real. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, wow. Hey, get to stepping. Get to stepping. You need safety. And if it's not safe where you are, you need to go. I get it. Yeah, we've got to keep it going. We've got to keep it going. Keep turning this heat up on WCSO. What did I just see? Somebody just posted something. What did I just see? Somebody just posted something. I hit my double audio. Sorry about that. Hold on a second. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See, it says they put something in here. So I guess the Washtenaw Sheriff is giving some type of update. Let me see what they got. I don't know if any of y'all seen this. It's been 32 comments on it. The Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office received a call of shots fired in the 800 block of George Place in Ypsilanti around 6:30 p.m. yesterday. Okay, so if they received this notification yesterday, why are they just now saying something now? This just happened 2 hours ago. This happened 2 hours ago. This went up 2 hours ago. And it can't be 2 hours. I've only been on here an hour. Now, I guess it's with the stamp. It's got to be real. Maybe it wasn't public 2 hours ago. Maybe they put it up, but it wasn't public 2 hours ago because I know that I've literally only been on here for 73 minutes. Only been on here 73 minutes. Okay. And this barely was up. There were 4 gunshot victims, ages 14, 16, 19, 20. The 14, 16, 19-year-old are siblings, and they were the friend of the 20-year-old when the shooting occurred. In this immediate aftermath of the shooting, one of the vehicles transporting victims crashed near Prospect and Michigan Ave. There was a heavy police presence. Yeah, I had seen this heavy police presence at the location of the shooting where the crash occurred. Eventually, all 4 victims arrived at nearby hospitals. So what are they saying? I mean, didn't they all go to St. Joe? Plus, they hit 3 other units. Reports say 34 shots in all, but no one was hurt. look at this. This is crazy. They popped off 34 bullets, and thank God nobody was hit. This is what I'm saying. This is some nut jobs out here. Ain't nobody learned no gun safety, no respect to the gun, nothing. And in over 12 years, Jerry ain't never done a youth gun safety program. In over 12 years. Hell, it's over 14 years now. He ain't never done a gun safety program for the youth. But y'all having them 3-on-3 tournaments, though. Balling in the park. Yeah. Balling in the park and shooting after dark. The WCSO does very little with other departments in joining task forces. It's about control. If you participate with the task force, you don't have 100% control over power. Clayton wants the control and power, which is a flawed thought process, as the priority is safety, and task force does not have a force multiplier and is better for the community. That's just something from a candidate. That's not from the sheriff, y'all. That official ideology is not from the sheriff. That's from the sheriff's candidate, Ken McGee. Just to let y'all know, he's in here, and I endorse him. And if y'all sat and talked to him and understood who he was and who he is and what he does and what he's done, you'd endorse him too. 34 shots, Monica. I got two Monicas in here. So when y'all keep hearing me say Monica a lot, I'm not just talking to one person. There's two Monicas in here. But let me continue with this WCSO thing. In the immediate aftermath, okay, no, we did that. It is with a heavy heart to report that the 16-year-old and the 19-year-old have both died from their injuries. Now, I thought they told me that the 19-year-old and the 20-year-old died from the injuries. Now they're saying it's the 16-year-old and the 20-year-old. At the time of the remaining victims suffered serious injuries but are stable. No one has been arrested as of the time of this post 2 hours ago, but investigators are hard at work attempting to identify who is responsible. Yeah, they're trying to identify who is responsible from the victims that are surviving. The surviving victims, they're trying to get them to talk. All they need to do is jump on social media. If you have information, please contact our anonymous tip line. Yeah. Okay. Some of the comments. America has become a war zone. Why aren't you including the description of the suspect that was given to your police units responding to the scene? More police presence. This area is absolutely out of control. Such a loss, such young lives lost. Where was the good guy with the gun? So sorry to hear of yet another preventable loss. It's not a lot of confidence in the WCSO on this post. The shooter hasn't been caught. That's disturbing. So sad for these youngsters growing up without parents or role models. You went a little far with that one. I would have to say, there's some truth to it, but there could probably be stronger parenting and maybe the role models and things like that. You don't want to get too far up into that. Like I say, you can do good by your kids and your kids can still go wrong. Thank you so much for sharing all the news reports that have been reporting false information, praying for the families of all these boys, hoping for a speedy recovery. What did they say that the news hasn't said? I would have loved to have seen, maybe not loved, but I would have been satisfied to have seen. You are the founder of the Huey P. Newton Black Panthers Detroit chapter, also owner of Tranquil Suites Event Hall. Let's start a gun safety program. I'm with it. The gentleman who is actually running for sheriff in Washtenaw County taught my 7-year-old grandson gun safety. And after he basically passed all of the questions that he had and made sure that my grandson understood to respect the gun at all costs, was able to literally shoot a gun that same day. But he had to work with him. He had to work with him all day. He had to make sure that he understood and he would comply with all rules that were set forth. Because obviously the eye is on the prize. Kids want to pull the trigger. I get it. But if they don't respect the gun, the gun won't respect them. So Sister Poole, where you coming at? You on Facebook? Inbox me on Facebook. Give me a number. Let's wrap, because we got some enrichment programs that are happening around the township, and we would love to put something like this together because it's out of the box thinking at this point. Conventional parenting, conventional mentoring, it's over. It's over. And see, the thing is, what people don't realize, because it's over, you've got to change it immediately. There's no gradual change. You've got to change it immediately. And if you don't change it immediately, it won't change. And yes, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt some, and some people are going to be left behind. I get it. I totally get it. Thanks, Free. What'd you say there, McGee? How many cops could 1.3 million bucks put on the street? Stronger parents from the top down. Hey, I really don't know where you came up with that number, but hey, I get it. We learned gun safety very young in my family. It's very necessary. Absolutely. I appreciate you. Let's get it. I'm here now, y'all. I'm here now. See, I had planned to do things one way. Now I'm having to do them another way. And I haven't really had to reinvent myself. I've just had to let some of the things that I was doing go so I could move forward personally. Because trying to build a team with individuals that want to be solo players, it don't work. And if everybody's not for the people, if you got one person in the bunch that ain't for the people, you're going to lose. If you've got one overtly narcissistic individual and they can't get by themselves, you are going to lose. Got to adjust to the clock. We are in such different times now. And I know that we've spoken mostly about young men, young boys even. The young ladies out here, we have to definitely share a moment too as well. Because although they are not 100% innocent in this, because I've seen gun violence dealing with young ladies recently, what I'm most concerned with is the avenue that some of these young ladies are going down. Not just some of them, a lot of them are going down these angles of debauchery. These angles of debauchery, it's harmful. I tell you, it's harmful. I'm not seeing the same young women grow up the way they used to grow up. They've gotten people out here now that are trying to make certain lifestyles. I mean, I didn't watch the BET Awards. But some of the things that I heard that went on that show, because this is a part of this younger culture. The BET Awards ain't ours no more. The old schoolers, we got to take a seat. We got to take a seat on the BET Awards, right? We got to take a seat on the BET Award. I'm gonna show this picture right now. I'm gonna bring this picture up right now. I don't even know what Bobby Jones was doing there. Look in the center of that picture. That's Dr. Bobby Jones, the gospel legend. Dr. Bobby, he was front and center. He was front and center for Pound Town. I didn't even know what Pound Town was. I had to go listen to the song. I listened to as much as I could because I'm thinking to myself, this is somebody's daughter. This is somebody's daughter. And Dr. Bobby Jones just looks disgusted. Now, the brother next to him, he looks kind of engaged. He looks a little engaged. He's over there he's checking out the performance. Dr. Bobby Jones, he looking forward. But the guy on his right, he looking at Pound Town. What you say, sis? You know why he was there. But look, what was Dr. Bobby Jones doing there? He ain't supposed to be at the BET Awards. Did he win a gospel award? He's still making music. They still got the gospel. I don't even know why they would have a gospel category at the BET Awards. Dr. Bobby Jones probably thought he was at the Stellar Awards. But there wasn't nothing stellar about this. I mean, I'm looking at this girl and I'm thinking to myself, what's going on here? You know, what is going on here? You are singing Pound Town right in front of one of the living gospel legends. I mean, I can only think of one thing. I don't understand what's going on.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this. Somebody come and look at this. Look at this.
I mean, she's half naked. Well, she's over half naked. She's mostly naked. And what clothing she does have on is transparent. And she's singing a song called Pound Town. And just guess what? It's on national TV for all to see. This is BET Awards. This is what BET Awards have come to. I mean, she probably didn't even know who she was standing in front of, gyrating. Telling everybody what color her booty brown, but okay, I ain't gonna talk. She's a little underdeveloped there, Sister Cynthia. She's a little underdeveloped. Oh, let me make certain that everybody knows at this point, Tyler Perry has not bought BET as reported. It is not, unless he made an announcement. Did he make an announcement on the BET Awards that he bought it? But I don't think he did. I got my second confirmation that he had not purchased BET. And they said the reason why he backed away from the deal was because they tried to tax him. They tried to run it up to like $3 billion. And he said no. I'm not sure why they're trying to get so much money for BET. Well, here's the thing. I don't believe that they really want to sell BET. You know, BET is owned by a white family. And I don't believe they want to sell BET because what they're doing without any type of ingenuity at all, they've made BET profitable just with all the reruns and the debaucherous programming that they put on. And hell, Tyler Perry, what's he need to own it for? His programming is on there at least 12 hours a day. He's already got Medea Goes Everywhere on every single day. The House of Pains, this and that. Tyler Perry's everywhere all over BET. So why would he go anywhere? Why would he give up $3 billion to buy the station when he's already on the station? Makes no sense. And if he's got his franchise player is Medea. If he's got Medea on there 10 to 12 hours a day, that's a sellable product to advertisers. That's a sellable product. Oh, they trying to get out of the hole. They trying to get Tyler to pay for all they debt. You ain't missed nothing, sis. You ain't missed nothing. They done stopped all the news programming. We have no news programming, no political TV. It's just a bunch of reruns. And the first run shows that are on there, it's not stuff that you really be interested in. Absolutely not. Yeah, it's gone downhill. Both of them have gone downhill. TV One and BET. They've both gone downhill. Tell you what else has gone downhill. Policing in Washtenaw County. It's gone downhill fast. Well, seeing that Jerry Clayton's been in office for 14 years, it went downhill, but it's been a gradual decline for his administration. Because he's been able to put enough Band-Aids and masks over people's eyes to make people think that something has really happened in this county over the last 14 years. And I can't even say they mishandled my brother's keeper, because it was a flawed effort anyway, started by Barack Obama. But Barack out here, 14 years after that whole thing started, Barack out here still going to recording studios and they making rap albums as if that's the grade for a young black man. You can be a rapper. Yeah, don't talk about lawyers and doctors. Just tell them that they can rap. You can be a rapper, son. Yes, you can. All I gotta say is,
Negroes, do your duty.
yeah, see, they put the juice on it. They put the juice on top. They said, look, the sale of the network is $2 billion, but we're $1 billion in debt. So go ahead and run that too, so we can walk away clean. They done made enough money. Now they want to just walk away even. They don't want to have no debt, because when they get on to their next venture, they don't want to go be $1 billion in debt. So they figure Tyler, he paid a little extra. You know, he paid a little extra. He put an extra billy on it. You're already giving us $2 billion. Go ahead and give us $3 billion, Tyler. Okay, we got you. Yeah. And Tyler backed away. Tyler backed away. Tyler backed away. Medea backed away. The Paynes backed away. Everybody backed away. Tyler ain't coming. Ain't nobody coming. So. I really would like to see more people making sure that they're not letting this whole thing with the history books and different types of books that you could find in libraries, normally in schools, that they're taking out of schools. Don't let that hinder you from teaching your kid real history, because real history is Black history. Real history is Black history, Black American history. Barry was a Trojan horse. Don't forget, he made it easier to drive Uber and Lyft and risk your life. Oh, absolutely. He canceled the taxi industry. When he started getting deep into his second term, I saw the writing on the wall as he was implementing, because that's really the first part of real politics that I was watching politics like on a daily end. I saw Uber and Lyft coming in well before a lot of people did. And some people just got washed away that were drivers. I mean, I had my own sedan. I had a taxi that I used from a cab company, and I could jump into either one of them and make whatever dollars I wanted to make. And when I saw the Uber thing coming in, I was like, whoa, this is going to be different. Now, I remember I pulled up at one of the bars before I really knew anything about Uber or Lyft. These little college girls came out. They half dressed, coming out the bar all sweaty. Are you my Uber? Are you my Uber? And I didn't know what they were talking about at first. And I was just like, Uber? And when I said that, they all jumped in the car. And I was like, where y'all going? They're like, are you our Uber? And I was like, you guys trying to get home? And then some of them were trying to get home. Some of them were trying to go over to the pizza place, da-da-dee, da-da-da. That's where I really learned about Uber. So the cab ride ended up being me just taking them to the destination, and they just threw me a whole bunch of singles, which was way more than they really owed me. But yeah, whoever was driving Uber that night, that fare got left, and he lost all them tips because I got that. If Black churches want people, they need to implement reparations ministry movement to include political education. So just getting back to, like I said, I had a meeting with a pastor last night. And one of the things that we talked about is being full spectrum, starting at the very young ages. And some of the things that we talked about, I just kind of laid them out on the table, and then we just had a conversation. Like I said, I ain't talking no strategy. I ain't talking no statistics, none of that, because I already see what people are used to doing. They really don't have the legs to their project, so they wait for other people to kind of give them ideas. Well, I ain't the idea man no more. The idea shop is cut off. It's only for the team that I work with. So y'all ain't catching no more of them ideas. So y'all can build your ideologies off of my ideas. You got to do it yourself.
Negroes, do your duty.
Yeah, you do your duty. I'll do my duty. But yes, get your kids involved in this AI stuff. Make sure you get them involved with ChatGPT. They're going to have to be proficient in all the stuff that's being thrown at them. Don't just let them sit on TikTok and IG and Twitter and Facebook and Snap and Telegram and whatever, WhatsApp. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you just let them sit and be on social media all day, you are building a failure. They can't live on social media, but they can die on it. They can die on it. Don't let your kids live on social media. Don't let your kids catch all their nutrition from social media. They will die on social media. Period. Hopefully this sound has come through clearly. I've tried to manipulate this bed. I wanted to see how it worked. I did about an hour without the bed, and then I've done this second hour mostly with the bed. I think I forgot it a little bit early on, but it's been looping back. So I want to see how it sounds today versus yesterday, because I got a chance to listen to like the second half of the stream yesterday. Then I edited some stuff from the first part of the stream today. If y'all have not subscribed to the Villager on Deck, Monica Williams, have you subscribed to the Villager on Deck? Let me go ahead and get that link for you so you can do that. I'm going to bring it right to the chat. Yes, I am. It's what I do. You need to just go on and just go. Uh-oh. Say live or about channel. Here we go. 19 subscribers there. So this is yesterday's video. So I'm just putting yesterday's video link in the chat. And just get on the platform there and subscribe to the Villager on Deck. Appreciate that. Oh, I get it. You know I get it. And the thing is, we've gotten to the stage where people have to, I had to come outside of myself to start talking to spiritual leaders again. You know, I had a battle with that. I was like, do I really want to get involved with individuals running these churches anymore? There's a certain thing that I went through with a certain ministry, bush burners, and I was like, I'll never do that. I'll never allow myself to be caught up in that situation. But I admit I threw the baby out with the bathwater, because I still know that the strongest population of people in this country is the Black church. Is the Black church. There's not a larger collective of people in this country than the Black church. Nobody unifies more in this country than Black church members. With that being said, much of our passivity as a collective happens in the Black church. And I know that every pastor ain't gonna want to hear this, because it's the truth, but they are purposely keeping their people passive. They are purposely keeping their people docile. They don't want revolutionaries in their sanctuary. They want servants to the Lord. That's all they want. They want servants of the Lord. I'm gonna probably have some church mamas. Look at this, and they're gonna be upset with me. They're gonna be like,
Did you say nigga?
I'm telling you, they're gonna be upset. I'm gonna probably walk by one, be right in the grocery store. They're gonna see me. They're gonna be like, oh, I know who that is. And they're gonna be like,
Did you say nigga?
I'm just telling you. I'm anticipating it. And I was waiting and debating for oh so long. But now I'm here. And if I start to put my name on things, that means I'm putting my reputation on things. And if I'm gonna put my reputation on things, I gotta be with the right people. And everybody that's out here ain't right. Everybody out here ain't right. Appreciate you, sis. Dr. Cynthia. Let me get it right. But I appreciate anybody that's in this Washtenaw County area, because I'm gonna send out, what we're gonna have is basically like an open house to introduce what we wanna do, because I'm not applying for 1.2 million. I'm not applying for $500,000. I'm not applying for 100,000. I know our community and I know what it's worth. So I'm not going to put a price on it. Because once I come to the table and we lay out what we want to do, we'll follow whatever protocols we need to follow. But I already told the pastor, I'm not about the grant. And I'm not about the grandstanding. But what I am about is these kids. And these kids are being cheated. They're being lied to. They're being cheated. And they're being stolen from. They are actually victims of crime right now, because this county is underserving them on many levels. I started with at home. Kids are being underparented. We can go right to the schools. They are being undertaught. Extracurricular activities, not enough of them. The traditional things that were available in years past, they're not there. So we've got to turn those things around. Recycle them. We got to do different things. And as far as flushing your kids to the basketball courts, the football fields, the baseball diamonds, we already know that that's not happening the way it used to. It's a fraction of the kids that play sports that used to. So we've got to meet kids where they are and take them where they need to be, or just show them where they're going to end up. We can't keep lying to them, y'all. We can't keep lying to them. I'm working on getting the Ypsilanti stats, y'all. But I already showed you, right? I already showed you what's happening in Ann Arbor. Didn't we already talk about this? I thought we talked about this. Ann Arbor Public Schools failing to meet the grade. Failing to meet the grade. You got 1 out of 2 Ann Arbor kids reading, writing, and doing math at a competent level. You already know who my target audience is, sis. I'm not going to turn away no kids, but I got to go with what I know. And I know our kids are directly affected. That's why I tried to tell people, you're never going to hear me say, last night at the meeting, I said, you're never going to hear me say brown. You're never going to hear me say black and brown. Now, I'm not going to turn a brown kid away, but you're not going to hear me promote that. Because once I promote black and brown, the black goes down. And before too long, the black ain't around and only the brown, it gets down. Absolutely. As a self-proclaimed do-for-selfer, and I have no problem with working for someone, but I am still a do-for-selfer. I am a self-starter. We have to teach kids to be independent. From your lemonade stand, we ain't really got no newspapers to deliver no more, but from your lemonade stands to selling candy to raking yards and mowing yards and shoveling snow, we can build entrepreneurs in them single-digit years. Get these kids off these video games. Get them out the house. That's another reason why we got so much senselessness out here. These kids ain't burning off these endorphins the way kids used to do. You got endorphins you need to burn off or you go crazy. But you've got 1 out of 2 kids in Ann Arbor reading and counting efficiently. This is embarrassing. And until I get the actual stats for Ypsilanti Community Schools, I would have to assume that Ypsilanti is somewhere in this same area. I've heard it's worse, but I haven't seen the actual stats. So I'm not going to put the numbers up that I've heard. I'm not even going to put that in the audible atmosphere. Yeah. Babysitting ain't even a thing no more. We've lost that. We've lost it. I'm not sure exactly how we let it slip away so easily on a collective level. Because I know that individually, some people have done phenomenal jobs getting their kids up out the paint, getting them to the next level. But so many are being left by the wayside. And I'm just not going to blame single parents, because I've seen some 2-parented homes where kids are mucked up. Yeah, they raising themselves. They get them a game system. You get them a game system, then they ain't got to leave the house. Yeah, they get them a game system, keep enough food and snacks in the house, and they just stay in the house when the parent leaves. And then kids come in the house when the parent leaves. And if it's a son you got, then he's got little girls coming in the house. If it's a daughter you got, she got little boys coming in the house. Well, hey, it's 2023. Some of the girls got girls coming in the house, and some of the boys got boys coming in the house. Let's keep it on the real. Let's keep it on the real. I am in a situation where moving forward with these people that I'm going to move forward with and do some work with, and they understand the angle. I told them, I was like, you know what? I understand recidivism. I understand it. I know we need to be in front of that as well, but if all we're going to think about is recidivism, that's all we'll ever focus on. And we'll be doing reactionary work. We'll be waiting for crimes to be committed to make sure that we don't get that kid out there committing a crime again. Let's be proactive before they go into the system. Let's have them be a part of something else so they never have to go into the system. Then we don't have to concern ourselves with recidivism. If they never exit, they never have to come back in. Absolutely. Absolutely, Dr. Cynthia. Excuse me there. I had a belch coming up at the same time I was trying to get that out. Excuse me. You have to ask if it's intentional. A less educated young generation can be easily led instead of leading. Absolutely. If you say you've got an underserved community, you've got an under-resourced community, you've got an underperforming school system, all in the same area, and you're not doing something directly to change that, I'm starting to look at purposeful acts. Dr. Cynthia, you got to come on. You have to come on. You have to let me know when you're ready to come on. I'll throw you the link. We'll talk about this, because when you say it's a combination of factors that influence kids' behavior, I think you got one or two of those factors you can roll off that I would have no idea. See, I'm always going to succumb to the professional. When I've got a clinician in the paint, I'm always going to take a step back. I don't need that clinical spotlight because that's not me. That's not my wheel. But you just let me know when you want the link, when you settle and you want the link, and I will just throw it in the chat and you hit it. You know how we get down. I think it could be, seriously, Monica, I think it could be because they know what the problems are. And this is a part of the Democratic play too. Democrats need to keep Black folks down. This is why they're such strong opposers to true repair of Black Americans. Democrats really don't want reparations either. We hear about Republicans being against reparations, but truthfully, I think Republicans are actually more for reparations than Democrats are. Due to the absolute two-parent home nowadays doesn't mean what we're coming up. I had the best on the team. So yeah. Oh, I knew what you meant. It's happening now to where we get so many kids out here from so many different directions. If we don't focus on ours, we're lost. Because the one thing that I do know, there are programs around Washtenaw County that work collectively with Hispanic people, Latinos, the American Asians here. They work collectively, whatever they are, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, they work amongst themselves. We all know how the Middle Eastern communities work. Arabs, Palestinians, you know. You've got your Armenians, your Albanians. We know how they work. They work collectively. We are literally still the only faction of people that has not figured out our truth strength as we once knew it. As we once knew our truth strength back in the day, back, way back before even I was born. Our truth strength was collective behavior. And when those structures started to break down, the family started to break down. When the family started to break down, you started to see more broken situations with children. And generally there was a direct statistic to not having enough guidance. Oh yeah. Absolutely. The house in the field prevents such. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, you sent that and I couldn't open it right when you sent it to me. I do need to look at that. You said it was a good example of it. Oh, that's Alfred Woodard. Is it Alfred Woodard? Is that who it is? I just want to make sure I'm on the right thing. Maybe I can play the audio. They won't give me a strike if I actually play the tweet, will they? You got people quoting Malcolm in here. Alfred Woodard. Examine it first. Okay, I will. I won't go live cold because I have not listened to it. And I don't want to get no strike. Oh, I'm looking at the comments. Yeah, I don't want to get a strike. Because I might just have to play the audio and not play the video. But man, where we are now with learning in Washtenaw County, and I can't wait for those Ypsi results to get back. And I want to know what's being done in Ann Arbor first. What's it going to take to get these scores up? We need above average scores, not 1 out of 2. All the schools in the city of Ann Arbor and their testing brought us to this. 1 out of 2 reading and math. Illiterate. You're illiterate in my book. you're illiterate. We need above average scores because only above average scores are going to keep you above average everywhere else. I mean, is this why we have so many special ed kids now? Because they don't take the time to try to get them up to speed. Oh, if you can't make it by so-and-so, then you just end up where, what? Pathways? ACE? Just makes me wonder. Mm-hmm. So a couple of the people that I have talked to that are like directly connected with this particular school system here in the village, they can't actually be public. But I would like to find someone that could really tell me where they feel like the roots of this are coming in at. Because you got to understand, Black folks are 7-8% in Ann Arbor, maybe at this point. I don't believe we're 10% anymore. Okay? Sister Cosetta. So if we're only 7 or 8% in Ann Arbor, a lot of these kids are not Black. With that being said, there's going to be a considerable amount of them that are white. Because where they're going to have some issues with some of them that have just come here and not really gotten established, but they come here with the job and all that stuff, and you know, get a car, get all kinds of stuff from people that they know. Not talking about any type of government subsidies. There's enough people here now that when other people come over here, they know where to find them. They know how to find them. They know how to get to them. We have to find the roots to all the problems. And we're not always going to find them initially. I get that. I totally get that. But the goal is to always find the root of the problems. The root systems provide the nutrients and that's why it's so important to take care of the roots. So that the roots will take care of you. I agree. I totally agree. I don't believe kids are being put in winning positions collectively. I just don't. And that no child left behind thing, you know what? Maybe that's the problem. Because y'all making sure that everybody stays in gear. Some people ain't working. said their sister Cynthia. Absolutely. They literally have their own community when they get here. When they get here. And if they come illegally, then they seek out those communities. They seek out their own people. So, got another one there. It's amazing how children succeeded well before the United States Department of Education was formed, right? Historically. Yeah. Yeah. Anytime you throw a bunch of bureaucracy into anything, you are going to develop a shit show eventually. You are going to create something that becomes way more problematic. And it's just going to generate problems. I was just watching something last night in the state of South Carolina. You didn't even have to pass the bar exam to practice law back in the day until the first black person made it through law school. And the first black person made it through law school, they changed it, and then you had to pass the state bar. And he was like, I always tell people, you know, and you take the state bar, it's my fault. And then they look him up, and he's real. He's literally talking real. Forgot that brother's name. But yeah, you did not have to take the state bar. So it is what it is. It is what it is. With this situation here, where we are right now, from what I'm hearing, we know 2 are gone. Bless their families. Bless them. 2 still in the hospital, no longer in ICU. Sounds like they've been stabilized. But the mutt is still on the loose. Cujo needs to be captured. Cujo needs to come off the road. Appreciate everybody that's checked out the stream today. Would you stay there, Sister Cosetta? School to prison pipeline, wake up, states putting money into building more prisons instead of education. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, prisons are way more profitable than elementary, intermediate, and high schools. They can make money hand over fist with a nice, fresh prison. But it takes a lot to get your return on investments for educational facilities for school children. You're just in a different space when you're dealing with the school to prison pipeline potential. You're in a different space. I would like to see more attention put on it, but I don't want to get just lost into the school to prisons pipeline. I think that we need to start focusing from the beginning and getting kids on a higher learning track. They used to call it the college track. They had a general track and they had a college track. And it was all determined by the courses that you took in school. And you must have advanced placement classes under your belt when you get out of high school now, or you're really not going to be taken seriously by a lot of these schools. Now, I know that I've heard that you can get into HBCUs if you're a black kid, and you don't have to get into a lot of the advanced placement stuff. I don't know if that's true or not. A couple people that, I would have probably said that I could trust on these things. One, I don't believe that he was telling me the all-out truth, because I heard money involved with one of his situations with dealing with this kid. But anyway, not to get off on tangent there. What we need to do is we need to make sure that we are focusing on educating our children and not just trying to prevent them from going to school and ending up in prison. We can't teach preventative measures that way. We've got to be progressive. We've got to be forward thinking. We can't teach backpedaling, because that's a reactionary method. I just believe that we need to be proactive and not reactive. That's me. That's Shannon. Now, anybody else, they can say what else they're going to say. I get it. I totally get it. What was that I was going to show? Oh. So yesterday I talked about the new ban on defective or enhanced equipment, like tinted windows. That's enhanced. They makes your car look better in some cases. It definitely will keep your car cooler because of the sun. Those loud exhausts, some people have those modified exhausts. Some people just have bad manifolds. But I wanted to speak on what I spoke on yesterday, because I think the main thing that people are losing sight of on some of these things is that you're saying they're not going to stop you for a broken tail light. They're not going to stop you for, expired registration and things like that. What happens in the commission of an actual traffic stop, though? And you do have those infractions in tow. I'm seeing way too much. Way too many kids just go left. I'm hoping that turns around. It's got to turn around. I mean, what we've got going on right now, they're saying nobody was hurt over in Arrowwood. That encounter sounds like there possibly was 10 kids in one of the cars and nobody got injured. It's amazing. But we've got to pull things together for the collective. Don't just look at this as an individual thing. There's a lot of people that are going to be out here hurting because of these young boys that have been assaulted, victimized, and the ones who lost their lives. All you have to do, imagine yourself being in those families' shoes. And you should be ready for change. You should be ready to make things happen. Keep a close eye on the bills coming out of the Michigan House and Senate. Okay. Thank you for the heads up. I will definitely do that. Don't have me sitting around looking like Dick Gregory. I see some bills that I don't like, boy. I mean, you know. But yeah, where I'm at now, they always add me some points on after I get my coffee in the morning. Added me some extra points. I'll take them because I needed them. I think my next drink is free. But this thing is going to be out, I believe, at the end of this month, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I do know. No, I think they got to sign that. I think they got to sign that still or something like that. The distracted driving thing starts this weekend, right before the 4th of July. So you're going to see the uptick in traffic infractions. They catch you with your phone in your hand, they're going to pull you over. They may not pull you over for tinted windows, but if they see your phone in your hand and you got tinted windows, I wonder how those stops are going to go. Excuse me. I really wonder how those stops are going to go. It's our fault. Why are schools allowed to fail? Because of the policy and legislation that the politicians put in play, who we vote for. Too fitty. This new law gonna mess up a whole lot of people's plans. It's gonna mess up a whole lot of people's plans. So get you some hands-free phone cradles. Stick them to the window, stick them in your vents, do whatever you got to do to keep the phone out of your hands, folks. Because they coming. They're going to be purposely looking for people holding their phones. You might be driving perfectly and just have your phone in your hand. You can get pulled over now. You're susceptible to getting pulled over now. Don't be distracted. And when I say don't be distracted, I mean don't be distracted. Don't lose focus. Don't be distracted. Don't lose focus. You should understand where we are, what's at play. If you don't, you ain't listening to me long. You should know. We always on the same thing. My mind does not go off into one direction and never comes back. I got that boomerang gang. So yeah, it could be in my mind, but it just ain't in my mind.
In my mind.
So I'm gonna go on and get out of here. Over 2 hours. I don't know how we did that quick. Maybe it wasn't that quick for some of y'all. But I appreciate everybody that's been in here. Appreciate everybody that's contributed to the chat, all the information, the text, the inboxes, all the stuff that I've been catching during this time. I appreciate all that intel. Let me see if anything new came through in the last few minutes. I wasn't looking at the phones. I was trying
online and purchase or lease your new.
Get that out of there. There we go. Oh, what do we got there? Craziness, man.
In the flesh, the turtle.
Man, let me get out of this screen. I watched this thing about this shark carrying this turtle to this boat. The turtle was about to die. It was being choked out. Somebody had put a rope around its neck. They were trying to catch it, and they couldn't catch the turtle. Turtle got away, and then the shark found the turtle, and it put the turtle like on its nose and swam it to a boat and put it up on the back of the boat. One of the most incredible things I literally had ever seen in my life. One of the most incredible things I'd ever seen in my life. So I was very, very impressed by that shark. I mean, that's the only thing I can say. I was impressed by that shark. This is something that I am not impressed with. Not at all, to say the least. Sister Cosetta, have you subscribed to the Villager on Deck? Have you subscribed to the Villager on Deck? If you have not, I'm about to throw that link right in. This is the link from yesterday's stream. Hit that link to the Villager on Deck and just subscribe. I know it's more comfortable for you to watch it from Facebook. You weren't able to? Okay. Is it not letting people subscribe to the platform? Let me find out. Let me find out if I can't accept subscribers. I've gotten no emails. I ain't did nothing wrong. I ain't hurt nobody. I ain't got no weapon. Let me see what the problem is. You couldn't sign in. Oh, okay. So is that the issue when people can't sign in? Like if they don't have, do you have a Gmail account? If you don't have a Gmail account, I guess you really can't sign into YouTube anymore. You've got to actually have a YouTube account to be signed in and be able to subscribe to channels. They done changed a lot of stuff around. I think it's actually time for me to really consider bouncing over to Patreon and upgrading my account. And, you know, I think I'm kind of wallowing in the YouTube muds. And the platform isn't that large over there. So Rumble. Somebody told me about Rumble, and I actually made a Rumble account, but never really subscribed to it. I think I followed a couple people, and I started getting notifications from them. So Rumble is good too. I wonder if I can stream live through here and add Rumble. I'm going to try that right after. I'm going to do a Villager on Deck Rumble and see if I can add it to the StreamYard. Yeah, because they said what I say, the way I do my thing, it would be more acceptable for Rumble's platform. I heard that. Thank you, Sister Monica. I appreciate that. That's I need that. I need that reminder. Absolutely. But yes, I do appreciate everybody who has contributed to the chat today. I never anticipate how active a chat is going to be or could be, but I was able to keep moving and keep things in front of me. Hopefully the sound, all the audio was good with the bed, without the bed. And I'm going to dig some more into this local stuff. You know, let me go check on the fam. And then I want to dig into this local stuff. I want to dig into the Rumble thing. I think we're about to have a busy summer. And we just need to keep our kids moving. We got to keep them moving. That's the only way that we are going to be fruitful with our kids, is to keep them moving. Period. Keep them active. It's not just about sports. You know, yes, they need to burn off endorphins. They need exercise, but every kid's not going to jump on playing surfaces and jump onto teams. But we got to stimulate those minds. And I'm glad we got a good, keep them circulating. I like that. I like that, Free. Got to keep them circulating. I'm telling you, lack of movement brings on death. A lack of movement brings on atrophy first, then it brings on death. Don't let our kids atrophy. Appreciate y'all. Y'all be good. And I'm waiting for the final updates to be done, but I'll start putting the Ken McGee for Sheriff website in the chat, and it'll actually be in my description whenever I talk about him on a stream, so you have that as a reference. Because we're going to keep talking about this, brother, as we get near that primary, or up to that primary. Some 400 plus days still out, so we got time. We are losing our young people. Yeah, 16 to 25, even younger. 49 kids under the age of 17 up until this past weekend have been shot. 49 kids. 49 under 17. And the numbers just went up because we just had 14 and 16 shot. And that's in Washtenaw County. We were counting mostly for the Wayne County kids. But we're going to get back at it as soon as we can. If there's any updates, any turn of events, and I can get back in front of this thing, y'all know I will. I appreciate y'all. Everybody that came in early, came in the middle, came in never late, but on time. Y'all be good. One love.
You know, this revolution is filled with so many ironies, really. First, you tell us that it is manly to keep your word, right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all of the black people in this country are demanding, and even the black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were free. Well, then show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well, then stick to your word and let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man, you're a bird, you're afraid of us, you're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will override you.